In this video, we will be looking at an example of nested loops. The subgoals for evaluating a loop are 1. Diagram which statements go together. 2. Determine the start condition. 3. Determine the termination condition. 4. Trace the loop. For every iteration of the loop, write down the values. We are given the following code and asked, what is the output? For subgoal 1, we diagram which statements go together. First, we look at the outer while loop. This loop has curly braces, making it easy to identify the statements that go with it. For subgoal 2, we determine the start condition. We see that the condition for the loop is I is less than n, so we need to know the value of I and n when the loop starts. Here we see that I is 0 and n is 5. For subgoal 3, we determine the termination condition. The loop continues as long as I is less than n, so the termination condition is when I is greater than or equal to n, which is 5. Now we look at only the outer loop and trace the loop. NL is the symbol for a new line. I is going to increment by 1 each time. I is going to increment from 0 up to 5, while n will remain 5. When I becomes 5, the loop condition is false, and the loop terminates. Now we look at the inner loop and repeat the subgoals. We diagram which statements go together. Again, the inner loop has curly braces, making it easy to see which statements go together. For subgoal 2, we determine the start condition. The loop begins when j is less than m. J starts at 0 and m starts at 8. Now we determine the termination condition. The loop terminates when j is greater than or equal to m, which is 8. Now, looking at only the inner loop, we trace the loop. J begins at 0 and will increment by 1 until it reaches the value 8. As j increments, another asterisk is printed onto the output. At the end, we will have 8 asterisks. Now we put the two loops together. I starts at 0 and goes up to 5. For each one of those, j will go around completely and print 8 asterisks. So in the end, we have 5 lines of 8 asterisks. Here we have I equals 1 and the 8 lines of incrementing j. You can see that for every cycle through the inner loop, another asterisk is added to the second row. Then I becomes 2, and we add a third row of asterisks. The outer loop goes 5 times, and the inner loop goes 8 times for each outer loop. This continues until we have 5 lines of 8 asterisks.